Welcome back, party people. You are listening to Crossplay, where we get together and talk about all the video game goodness we can handle each and every week right here on the Whatnauts.com. Today is Saturday, March 28th, 2020, and this is episode 19. Coming up on today's show, both Sony and Microsoft have assured customers that their next-gen consoles have not been delayed amidst the COVID-19 outbreak. There was a Nintendo Mini Direct this week with a bunch of cool announcements coming out of that. Plus, Epic Games Publishing has announced a new partnership with a few studios for some multi-platform games. So we're going to be talking about all of that and more in just a sec. But first, my name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Ignacio Rojas.
Howdy ho.
Howdy ho, indeed. How are you, man?
Hey. Doing good. Same as last week. I haven't been having any in-person classes. We moved to digital only because of all the stuff going on around the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I've left my apartment all week.
Right? It's been
Yeah.
2 weeks. Like, I've been outside in my own backyard,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, but besides that, I haven't left the house in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
how are you coping? Because I know we're both introverts. Like, we're not
Yeah.
super extroverted. So, for me, I feel right at home. It's like, this is what I do anyways.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't have to leave the house, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, it hasn't hit me that bad because of that. I'm
Okay.
accustomed staying at home most of the day, but also I often do have these urges of wanting to go outside, do something, move.
Right?
So I haven't been able to do that. First, because since I flew in, I decided to stay quarantined.
Mhm.
It was a decision, and now they have officially instated a quarantine. So
Okay.
not going out for at least another week. No.
Man,
Yeah.
crazy stuff. Yeah, I
Crazy
was
stuff.
working from home Friday, and I was getting restless, but not
Mm-hmm.
to like go out and do something. I just really wanted to get in bed. I was just like, dude, I just want to lay down and take a nap.
Yeah.
And I was just
I
like,
get
but I can't. And so I was like up and pacing and stuff like that. I'm just like, I just want to sit still, and I can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
it's been crazy times.
crazy
Dude,
times.
I was just looking at some video game sound boards. Just a
Okay.
random thought. I was just like,
Okay.
you know what? It'd be kind of fun at some point to maybe have some like sounds or something to like
Oh.
denote when we get into new sections and stuff like that. And be like, oh, here's the like Mario coin sound whenever we have a new story or something like that. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't
But
know. Pretty fun.
yeah, they're just like something to help break up the
Yeah.
monotony of my stupid old voice.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
Yeah. I found some online. I was looking at some Mario ones, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of like, ha, ooh,
Oh,
ah.
whoa.
Yeah,
Just that.
so-
It's all that. Just weird
And
noises.
this just in, breaking news story. Wah! But besides that, what have you been playing? What have you been up to this week?
You know, like last week, I don't feel like I played much, but I don't know. It's a weird feeling because I don't know. I should have more time to play, but all I want to do is lay in bed and watch YouTube videos.
Right, I've had this weird thing happen where I'm falling behind on podcasts and YouTube videos that I
Oh, yeah, for
usually
sure.
watch. It's just like my normal work week. I have a commute to work. And so like I spend that time listening to podcasts. I spend my time working, listening to podcasts, on my way home, listening to podcasts, and all of this stuff. And then now it's just like, okay, I gotta start work at 11, so I wake up at like 10:55, roll out of bed, sign on, and just start. And it's just like, well, I should have more time, but I don't.
Yeah. No, I've been having the same problem. I usually only listen to podcasts when I'm doing something that doesn't require my listening, and also when I'm just walking around. So now that I'm inside and I'm either playing video games or laying in bed watching YouTube videos or in classes, I have been falling behind on some podcasts.
Yeah.
I have been pulling up. Yeah.
It's weird.
Weird
stuff.
But what I've been playing, I picked. What have you been playing? Wahoo! So I picked back up Titanfall 2. I started that one back in January, and I ended up stopping because something came out. Might have been Kakarot, I don't remember.
Probably Kakarot.
Yeah.
Or when did
I don't know what else came out.
Kingdom Hearts. The
DLC came out after. It came out after
that.
Yeah. Well, I picked it back up. I think I'm appreciating the game more now. I don't know if it's because of the part of the game that I'm now compared to where I was before. Before, I thought it was just another first-person shooter game with a campaign that was more interesting than the average, I would say, but not this awesome thing that everyone talks about. But now I'm starting to see more of the creativity the game has and the level design of what it does to keep you engaged. For example, I picked it right back up on a level where it has this gimmick where it goes in between two like timelines or time periods. Yeah. You are either in a future where everything is destroyed in that lab, or you go back to where everything was normal. And so I thought it was pretty cool going through this whole lab, being able to, whenever you want, very fast, change between times. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool, going in between. People spotted me and boom, I'm disappeared and
it's like, oh shit,
go behind
I'm not here.
Yeah. And for them, I just disappeared all of a sudden. But no, I know where the guy was, so I skip to the other timeline. I go behind. I just pop right back in and get them from behind.
It's sweet, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool level.
Have you ever played Dishonored 2?
Yes, I was getting those kind of vibes of that mansion.
They have a similar thing, and that is like still just thinking about that level in Dishonored 2 is just like, holy moly, how did they do that? Yeah. This is amazing.
Yeah, there's even a part in the level where you have to drop down from a tube, and you have to so quickly change between timelines because one timeline it's all on fire, and the other one it has lasers. So as you're falling down, you have to quickly change in between them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a better appreciation of the game right now. I still don't think it's this masterpiece in storytelling that I feel people talk about when they talk about Titanfall 2. But yeah, it is better than at least the other first-person shooter stories, I would say, that I've played.
Yeah, I think for me, it comes across at, like, it's not a masterpiece in terms of storytelling per se, but it's just that, like, no two parts of that game are the same thing. Like, it's always something new, and it's always, it's just like, hey, how about this thing? How about that thing?
Yeah.
And it all fits really well, and it's just like, this is fun. Like, they're constantly throwing something new at you, whereas maybe more traditional stuff is like, okay, here's another corridor with another room.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. For the first half of the game, I was having the feeling of it felt pretty generic at the beginning, and it wasn't until you got to the part where you're in this like assembly whole no assembly line.
Sure.
You're in this like a big warehouse where they just building houses. You remember that one?
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
like walls of the houses are flipping or on conveyor belts,
Yeah,
and you
and
have
you're
to
in.
jump
Yeah, you
back and
this
forth.
conveyor. I felt like it wasn't until you got there that it started to get more creative and more unique. I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the story I'm still not very into. Again, I feel like the story in the beginning wasn't very interesting, and it wasn't until that section where I picked it up that it started
Yeah.
to get more interesting. But yeah, I don't. I think I'm close to the end. I'm
You are.
probably gonna finish it. Yeah, but yeah, I'm planning on finishing it sometime soon.
It's not that long.
Yeah. What else have I been playing? Monster Hunter World is something I've been playing, and it's not because it was a game I was interested in. It was more because it's a game that me and my friends have been talking about for a while now that we should play together.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah. So I've been playing just with them. I don't think I would enjoy it much if it wasn't because I'm playing with them and talking through with them throughout all it. Isn't much my kind of game, but it is a fun game to play with others, I would say. Although that being said, for a game that I think has this big emphasis on being on a group and being with other players, it should be better at having you be with other people. For example,
That's what I always heard.
yeah, for example, you cannot start missions with your friends.
That's
Everyone
weird.
has to start the mission on their own, and it isn't until everyone has seen, like the game says, every cutscene in the mission. It's not until
Mm-hmm.
then that you can then join in with your party. So in
That's
that sense,
weird.
yeah, I don't know why.
Because I remember hearing about that when it came out, and a couple months after, as they were like, okay, here's some new patches and stuff like that. But it's still strange to me that, like, hey, a year or so out, who knows how long,
Mhm.
it's like still just like, this is difficult to play with other people, even though that's kind of the
Yeah,
point of the game.
yeah. I think the only way you could really the you could get the most time playing with other people would be if everyone already finished the game and going back
Interesting.
with the missions. Since the game stops you from joining in if the other player hasn't seen every cutscene.
Right.
So unless you have already done it, you cannot join in or have people join in. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty weird in that sense, especially for a game that's so heavy into playing with others.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're still on the game. We're still planning on playing it. I think maybe tomorrow we'll jump in.
Good
But
stuff.
yeah, it is a fun time playing with other people. That's
That's what my old roommates used
mm,
to do. My first roommate in college was this Korean guy named
mm,
Sung, and one of my other roommates was this like short little Filipino guy, and they would play Monster Hunter or something. I don't remember which one, but they had it on their PSPs
oh,
or Vitas. I'm not sure which one it was.
it must have been
I
PSP. The beta didn't have a proper Monster
Gotcha.
Hunter World, I think.
Gotcha. Yeah, they had one of them newfangled Sony handhelds. Um, but yeah, that's what they would do and stuff like that. And I was just like, you guys are dorks. They'd be like, shut up, Kyle. Like, okay.
Moving on. I've also been trying to play more with my VR unit, my Oculus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only game I've really been playing lately that I just picked up is a game called Aspire 1. So
Aspire
the
1?
game, yeah. So the game is kind of like a Metal Gear Solid in first person in VR. And it's kind of like
Okay.
that. It has an interesting concept in that you are not going into the mission. You are controlling a robot that's going into the mission. So the game
Interesting.
is about traversing these levels, kind of like in Metal Gear, and it's kind of like Metal Gear Light, I would say.
So
It's not as
it's a stealth based.
yeah, it's a stealth game. You go through this facility, you try to not alert the guards or whatever. You can even hold them up, like in Metal Gear. You can move up
Right.
to them, and even you can say freeze in order to hold them up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty
Freeze.
cool.
Nobody
Yeah,
move.
yeah,
Give me
that
all
thing
your
is pretty
money.
cool. Yeah, it has some voice recognition, the game. But that
Interesting.
being said, it does feel like Metal Gear Solid Light. It does still,
Okay.
it's missing something, missing the heart, I would say. It still feels kind of empty. Maybe it's because it's a VR game and you can't do much because of processing and all that.
Is it really
But
like, does it focus more on like the experience of being there and sneaking around, or does this thing have a story?
no, it is a story. The
Something.
story is that you are an Australian special forces something that,
Okay.
at least from the part I haven't progressed much. Your mission is infiltrating this facility where people have taken over, and you have to control a robot that was inside that compound. And it's your mission to clear it up so that the soldiers can come in and take it back. That's the
Gotcha.
story, at least as far as I'm still in the beginning, so I'm guessing it's more than just that. But that's what I got. But like I said, it feels like Metal Gear Solid Light. It is missing some heart to it. It is missing. I don't know. It does feel a bit empty. But that may be
Okay.
because it's VR. And the other thing in the VR unit that I've been doing is that I found out that you can, if you hook up your Quest to the PC, there is a thing where you can download levels made or games made from other people,
Oh,
kind of like
nice.
in Dreams, in Dreams way.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's this platform where it allows you to install games made by other people for free. So I've been messing a bit with that, and I found this one thing that if you install it, and if it lets you play Half-Life 1 in VR, if you have
Hmm.
the game on your PC already.
Nice.
Yeah, so I messed a bit with that, playing Half-Life 1 in VR.
Okay.
Since Alex came out and I can't play it, this is the closest I can get.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
actually never played a Half-Life game, and so
yeah.
I also don't have VR, and I don't, so the Half-Life Alex has already kind of come and gone for me. It's just like, well, probably not gonna play that one.
Oh, I want to
So
play it so bad. It looks so
it
good.
looks good, but
It looks so good. I'm like PC
yeah.
cannot run it. Oh, it looks so good. Yeah, so this is the closest I can get. I've
Fair
also never
enough.
played a Half-Life game, so I think I'll give it a try. I'll try to go through the whole game
Sweet.
because if I'm gonna experience a game that's that old, I better do something new with it, and that's VR.
It's an interesting way to
Yeah,
think about that. I feel like most people would be like, hey, I want to experience it like as close to the original as
Yeah.
possible, but as updated as possible. So like, put me on a computer or on a PlayStation 4 or something, or
Mhm.
who knows what, but not in VR.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I've only played the tutorial, and that was a bit weird since the game isn't meant to be played in VR, but it
Right, yeah.
works. It works better than you would expect, to be honest.
Okay.
It works better.
Stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And that's it for VR. The only thing I played that I wanted to mention was Predator Hunting Grounds. There's a beta coming up
Gotcha.
that's out right now.
Yeah, I was going to say that. The thing is running this weekend, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to play it
Okay.
yesterday, but I didn't download the game and I had to wait to today. So I messed
Gotcha.
around with it for an hour. I would say I played maybe 2 matches.
Sure.
And that's because it was very hard to find a session. I had it there in quick play, and it took me 7 minutes the first time to find a session. That was pretty weird. I don't know if it is because not many people are playing it, or if it is an infrastructure thing.
I've seen a number of people excited for
Yeah,
it.
me too. That's why it was so weird to me. But
Yeah, huh.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. But from what I got to play, I only got to play as the Predator both times.
Okay.
So, well, first, have you seen at least the Friday the 13th game?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the same people, and the
Yeah.
concept it is kind of similar in that it's one big monster against other human players. So in that way, it is just like that. But the game looks so much better than what the other one was. You can see that
Good.
this
Good.
game had a better budget.
Good for them, because
Yeah,
the Friday the 13th game kind of ended, unfortunately.
yeah,
Where there was that whole thing of like, hey, something about the
yeah.
license
Legal
is weird
rights.
here,
Yeah,
and you guys technically can't update the game anymore. It can still
yeah.
run, but you can't update it.
And
So
even then, it barely ran. Apparently,
yeah,
it had all these problems. But so the gameplay, at least from the Predator part, since that's the only thing I played, it is an interesting way of playing it. It reminds me in a way to Assassin's Creed, but if you were a monster. Why I say that? Because you are mostly on top of trees, and it's you
right.
parkouring through trees. It's all in a jungle setting, and underneath there's this whole installation, military installation, and this whole environment stuff. But if you're the predator, I would say you are mostly in the trees. So it's you traversing the trees and trying to find the humans. And you're not only playing against humans because there are some AI there too. And while you find the humans, you can also kill them. They are
Hmm.
easier to spot than the other ones, I would say, than humans. But yeah, it's you against the people, and your goal is to kill them before they can escape. And
Okay.
yeah,
That's what I heard. That it was pretty much like a 5v1 style thing, but then there's
yeah.
the AI NPCs that are in the world kind of
Mhm.
guarding the objective that the human players need to get to or
Yeah,
do something there, and then there's the predator that's hunting them and like trying to stop them.
yeah.
Um,
As the predator, I think your only goal is to kill the humans, but as the humans, you had several goals. I know there are missions in there, but
right.
you can also try to escape, which happened to me once. And there's another one that you can try to kill the predator, which you
Yeah.
can. That's one thing that's
Okay.
different from Friday the 13th. You can actually try and kill the predator.
Let me ask you this:
And mhm.
did playing as the predator feel underpowered, overpowered? What's that dynamic like?
uh, when you actually encounter the humans and you have to go head to head against them, I felt underpowered. I feel that I should be able to kill them easier. Both
Okay,
times they were able to overpower me, and I don't think there were many of them there to do it. I feel like my attacks
gotcha.
didn't do as much as I hope it would do, since I'm supposed to be this monster being, and they have these guns, and they were easily able to overpower me.
Interesting.
So in that way, I feel like I should be stronger. But the one thing I like from the Predator is that you are very mobile. You go in between
Mhm.
these trees very easily, very fast. The
That's
parkour
cool.
at least
'Cause
feels great.
that's what someone in another Discord channel I was in was mentioning, that they got
Mhm.
to play it because they were super stoked, and they got to play on both sides, but they said that playing as the Predator felt underpowered.
Yeah,
But
no, for sure.
I remember from a while back, I think when they did a closed beta or something, that people were saying like, if the humans stick together, it's pretty easy for them to defeat the Predator. But if they're all scattered and not working as a team, you can kind of pick them off one by
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I don't know. In both settings, I at least had more than one person near me, so it might
Mm-hmm.
have been because of that. But still, I feel like I wasn't doing enough damage, I would say.
So as the Predator, what is your weapons? Like what can you do?
It took me a while to figure out the controls, to be honest, because they they never explained it to you. But
Okay.
so from what I got to use, you have your thermal vision, which it is in a way pretty useful. You
Mm-hmm.
can be stealthy and have this camo up, which I felt it didn't work at all. You have your claws, which is your melee attack. So if you're in front of someone, you would just use your claws to kill them. You have kind of like this rocket launcher slash laser. I can't tell which one it was.
Sure.
And
Laser guided rocket launcher, maybe?
yeah, maybe you can charge it. That's one thing.
Okay.
You can charge
Cool.
it, and the attack will be stronger. So you have your claws, your laser, your. I know there's one other thing I had, but I never used it. I think it was a turret, but I don't know.
Okay.
So yeah, so what you're doing, both your, I would say, your camo and your thermal vision, I think they both consume energy.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, you have to manage how much energy you're using. So that's why
Gotcha.
you couldn't have thermal vision or cloaking up all the time.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
That's that's one I'm not super interested in checking out, but
Hmm.
I'm interested to see how it does, because it seems like a neat idea,
Yeah.
but then I feel like, just growing up in the time that I did, like, licensed games never seemed like a great thing. So it's just like, it looks cool, I guess,
Yeah.
but it's a
I don't know.
Predator game.
At least the effort is there.
That's
I
just
wouldn't
me.
say it's phoned in like other licensed games,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah.
have to agree with that. It doesn't look like it was just like, oh, well, we can use this to make a little money.
Hmm.
But it does seem like they really love that property.
Yeah.
It's just one that I am too young to really care about like that.
Yeah. The same. The
Yeah,
same.
like
I've
I've
never
I've
watched any
seen
Predator movies.
I've seen Predator. It's a fantastic film.
Yeah.
I've seen I think I've seen Predators, which I think is the sequel. I don't know. And then I've seen Alien versus Predator, which was
Okay.
not very good. So,
But
okay,
yeah.
good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's pretty much the game. I think that it is good for the developers to have the backing of Sony in this case, and
Mm-hmm.
also 20th Century Fox.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think you see the game be more polished than Friday the 13th ever was.
cool.
And yeah, because of that, I do see them maybe getting a bigger push than they ever got with Friday the 13th. And we'll have to see how it evolves if they keep at it and start adding, I don't know, new levels or whatever.
Hopefully it
But
works out. I
yeah,
I,
no,
I don't
hopefully it works out.
know if this is gonna do super well now
Mhm.
that Call of Duty Warzone
Oh yeah,
was just like, bam, big dick on the table. There we go.
I don't know when does it come out?
I don't know
Oh,
exactly,
April
but
24th,
just like the idea
end
that
of
they kind
April.
of launched, or at least this beta launched
Hmm.
around the same time that Call of Duty also drops Warzone. They're just like, well, people are probably going to be playing Warzone. No
Yeah,
offense, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Hopefully it
It
does
is a
well.
different kind of game. If you have your friends
You're right.
to play with you, I do think you would have a great time. And it is in a way a different game than Warzone.
You're right.
But yeah,
Cool.
we'll just have to see what ends up happening. As you have a month till release.
Hmm. Well, let's see. I have been playing some more of Division 2, Warlords of New York, their
Nice.
expansion pass. I got to play a decent handful, not too much. I previously had two of the lieutenants down,
Hmm.
because the way this whole thing is structured is you're looking for Agent Keener, I believe is his name. He's a
Okay.
agent that has gone rogue. I think he was a character in Division 1. And you are looking for him, but to find him, you have to track down his 4 lieutenants. And they're in like different sections of New York. New York is kind of split into those 4 sections, and I had done the first 2 sections, right? I had done 2 of them. There is no like you need to do this one first. Um, kind of pick where you want to go. But I did the 3rd one, as well as just spent some time kind of filling out my map and collecting more of those shade tech caches, and stuff like that. They do some good boss fights though. Like
Yeah.
that's one thing that I really want to praise them for in this one, because
Great in what way?
they're never the exact same. Like that, like from games like, I don't know, people will get mad no matter what I say, but like games like Zelda, like I feel confident to an extent going into a boss fight because I know there's going to be some pattern. Like if he has this attack, I have to like dodge that, and then that'll leave this one spot open, and I have to shoot, that weak spot, and I have to do that 5 times, and then he's dead.
Yep.
Whereas the next boss after that is a similar thing. There's some pattern, and I just have to figure out the pattern and do that thing 5 times, and then he's dead.
So this one doesn't do that.
So one of the bosses, I think the first one that I played in this expansion, was in like a club or something, I think. And the DJ booths had been turned into like these turret stations, and the power was out in the was out in the room, and at certain times the power would come back on and would light up one of these DJ stations, and you'd have to go race to that turret. But when they do, there were more bad guys that came out that also raced to the turret to shoot you. Meanwhile, you were trying to take down like 3 of these big, heavy, armored guys, and it was just chaos.
God.
And then the next one was like this fight in this underground subway thing where there's all this like toxic gas and he was like trying to throw things at you and snipe you, and he was sending people after you, and the idea was like you had to like get his health down to a certain amount so that he would jump down and try and kill you himself. And that's when you can do the real damage there. Okay. And then the one I did this time was this big sniper battle, but this guy was using like drones to make copies of himself. So it was like these holograms that looked like his character was there, and there were like 20 of them, like all in this thing. And so you had to like pay attention to see which one was shooting you, and at the same time he would also like move around and stuff and change his location. There were these turrets that would come on at random times. It was just like it's not the like, okay, I need to look for this one specific pattern and then shoot this weak spot, right? It was like it was something new every single time, and I was just like, I don't know what to expect. Like I felt like when I got to this one, I went into the situation with what I felt like was my comfortable loadout. It's like, okay, I have the type of gun that I like, and then I have my shotgun for when it's like, oh shit, he's right behind me, you know. And I went in there and I was like, my shotgun is useless here. I need a sniper. And so I had to get myself a sniper that I liked, and then figure out if I could snipe them every now and then. And that seemed to work, but it took a long time. I was just like, oh man, this was a long fight. I liked it. It was good. It's strange because that fight in particular reminded me of the way people talk about like Bloodborne or Dark Souls or stuff like that, where it's like you have to be very particular and meticulous, and just wait for your opening. Take it slow. Can't just start spraying and hoping that it works. You have to use a specific thing, and you have to like get in one shot and then wait, and then one shot and then wait. You know, so.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you, even if you wanted, you cannot go fight all the remaining lieutenants now. Could you? Because so I heard that they are timed. They are available at they are not all available now, that at some point they will.
No, so all 4 of the lieutenants are available right away. That's the, I think.
Oh, so you could right now go and fight them all?
I could if I wanted to.
Okay.
That's the story mission of the DLC. I think they might, in the battle pass, might be doing some kind of like timed event, like, oh, here's a new lieutenant that has stepped up or something. Those might be timed.
Yeah, I thought I heard something was timed.
I know also when, so like each, like New York is divided into 4 sections, and as you kind of fill out the map in each section, there's like maybe a side mission. There's a couple like safe houses for you to unlock and control points to go defend and stuff like that. And as you do those activities, like it's basically you trying to liberate that section of the city. Like, hey, we're in hostile territory right now, so we need to find their control points, take them over, and set up our network and stuff like that. So as you do that, once you basically liberate the city, it unlocks like this like section boss, if that makes sense. And it's like, hey, you have 13 minutes to go find this person and fight them and beat them. And I have to say that every time that I have done that, I didn't make it, or I died, or stuff like that. But I think it's something that if I then go back into that section of the city and complete it's one of those like random activities, like, hey, it's a supply drop, go get the supplies and defend it and stuff like that, then it should unlock. Because I remember that in the base game that they had a similar thing where it's like, okay, once you liberate a certain section, there would be this like mini boss fight that you had to go do, and if you didn't make it in time, you could reactivate it by doing another one of the activities. So maybe that's what they were talking about.
I don't know. I'm not very into the Division, so maybe I confuse stuff.
But yeah, I'm still having a lot of fun with it. It is maybe not the game for everyone to play right now, considering the story is about a pandemic that has ruined the country. I really don't mind that. I don't think the story in the Division is, one to get invested in. I'm just
I don't know.
having fun shooting things.
People keep saying that, and then I'm seeing all these people online watching all these pandemic movies now that everything is happening. So
there is a weird fascination with that.
Yeah, I think there is a fascination.
Melissa was saying the same thing on our recent episode of The Captain's Log. She was like, normally I'm maybe a little more hesitant to watch like super dramatic movies and stuff, because it's like, oh man, this is probably gonna be a bummer, right? It's gonna be sad. But it's like, now I'm more willing to watch this because it's kind of par for the course. It's like, hey, their situation is worse than mine. Makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, so I have one more lieutenant to go in Warlords of New York, and then that should unlock wherever the location of Agent Keener is, and I'll go whoop his ass, hopefully. I do have to say,
he whoop yours.
I'm sure he will at least once or twice. I do have to say that I have been experiencing a little bit of issues with lag. And I don't know if that's because everyone is online or bandwidth is slowed, or if that has something to do with it. But I'll get to
it's probably that.
It might be something like that. I think like statistics came out that like online gaming is up 75%.
Yeah, no, we'll even talk about it later. But Sony has been having to like throttle back game speeds or download speeds.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would get to like a mission area, and I would see the text pop up for like, hey, someone is speaking right now, but then there would be like no one speaking, and then like 20 seconds afterwards, it's like, okay, you're here in the something building. We need you to connect this and that. And I was like, ooh, man, that was not good. I had issues of sound dropping out entirely from the environment. As well as, like, I could see the red dots from where it was like, hey, there's a bad guy standing right there. But then no one would be there.
Ghosts.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna run past you then, and then I would run by, and then I would see them. I wouldn't hear them, but they would be trying to shoot me, and I would see all the I would see all of the bullets flying past me, and I was just like, what in the world is happening? And then for the first time ever for me playing a video game. I fell through the level. My character just dropped forever. And I looked up and I could see the underside of New York, and I was like, oh man, this is what hell must be like.
Yeah. Well, you have to assume that because of everything that's going on, Ubisoft is having now a very hard time working out every kink and whatever, and fixing servers and patching stuff.
Yeah. I remember Spider-Man 2, or not Spider-Man 2. Sorry, we are comparing and contrasting Spider-Man 2, starring Tobey Maguire, and Captain America 2, Winter Soldier, on episode 100 of the review show. So I had Spider-Man 2 on my mind. But in the Spider-Man PS4 game, I remember their DLC was like, this is a little buggy. But you know, that's so I kind of expected that, but it was just like, oh man, this seems particularly bad in this case. But I guess given the circumstances of what's happening now, it's like, all right, it makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of it is being streamed into your console and how much is on your console.
Right, yeah. So that's all I've been playing this week.
Yeah.
Been good. It's been fun.
Woohoo!
Okay. Let's get into a little bit of housekeeping, and then we will dive into the news of the week. I mentioned episode 100 of the review show. That is coming up very shortly here. Be on the lookout for that. But yeah, we have multiple podcasts here at the Whatnauts for you guys to check out. You guys can find more information on all of those on our website, thewhatnauts.com. You guys can also find us on your podcasting platform of choice. Just type in the Whatnauts and all of our shows will pop up right there. If you guys like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. You guys can get episodes early. And look, if you only listen to one of our podcasts, that's 25 cents a week. If you think an episode of our podcast is worth 25 cents, a quarter, help us out. Toss us a coin to your podcaster. There you go. Let's see. We have a bunch of exclusive content from some of our other shows on our Patreon at the $3 tier. So go check out all of that stuff. And of course, a big thank you to our Patreon supporters at the $5 tier. So thank you, Sam, and thank you, Christine, for helping us out. Especially right now. Money's tight.
Especially now.
Yeah, so thank you for all of your support.
Shout out to Sam and Christine.
Exactly. I do have to say that we are still $1 short of reaching our first goal on Patreon, which is a small $15 a month. So again, if you like what we do, help us out. It would be the world to us all.
Come on.
Exactly.
Or give us $1.
Go buy some merch.
Yeah.
thewhatnauts.com/store.
Yeah, there's a merch store.
There you go. Okay. Let's shift gears over to the news of the week. I think I updated this stuff. Let's see. 7 items this week. Kind of 8.
7?
Yeah,
it says 6.
We'll mention. Yeah, I messed up and I didn't change that yet. But 7 things. Kind of 8, because we'll mention the PS Plus games after this. But number 1. Next gen isn't getting delayed, so they say.
Yeah.
So we've heard word this week that both Sony and Microsoft have basically come out and say, like, hey, despite all of the stuff that is happening with COVID-19 and the coronavirus, things seem to be on schedule.
Yeah, somehow.
At least so far.
Yeah.
So we got two articles right here. First one is coming from Alex Avard and Austin Wood at gamesradar.biz. And they write, in a statement to Bloomberg, Sony affirmed that the ongoing coronavirus pandemic has yet to have any major effects on the launch of PS5, which is still planned for this holiday season. This statement comes just 9 days after the company told Dutch site Let's Go Digital that, quote, coronavirus has not yet delayed the launch of the PlayStation 5 for the time being, end quote. Globally, the situation with coronavirus has only worsened in the past 9 days, although some Asian countries, which, as manufacturing keystones, are the major factor in the PlayStation 5's launch, are now on the mend. So, Sony's saying, hey, everything's on track for now.
For now. Yeah. No, the important thing there is for now.
Exactly.
I don't know how far away we are from when they should start producing their consoles. So, yes, until then, it probably isn't affecting it much. But if all this stuff ends up carrying over till then yeah, it will be a problem.
Yeah. Paul Tassi over at Forbes says pretty much the same thing for Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
They write, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella told CNBC, quote, on the supply side, we are getting back on rails, end quote, this week. To expand on that, we'll have to check back in on it, but the one good thing is the supply chains are all coming back. In some sense, right now, that is not a real issue. I think the bigger issue is what happens in the United States, in Europe, and other developing markets around the demand side of this going forward. End quote. There we go. So yeah, same thing. Things are on track for now.
For now.
We'll see what happens in the coming months.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. At least now, reports have been coming out that China was at least doing better, like kind of bouncing back from the beginning, and people hope that soon people will start going back into the factories. Right. But this is a very rapidly changing situation. I think even though stuff had been getting better in China, like a couple of weeks ago, I think stuff did start going a bit worse because people were really on the mindset that it's all better now, but no, it isn't better, and that kind of pushed back stuff. But yeah, I don't think.
I was just going to ask, how likely do you think it actually is to see these delayed?
I don't know, because even say this whole stuff does end up impacting their production, does Sony and Microsoft want to still push the console releases or keep the console releases where they wanted them before and have fewer units out in the wild, or do they prefer to give it more time, push the releases, but then you're also screwing yourself up and other developers that weren't counting on a release at that time, you're screwing them up too. So I don't know, they have to weigh in the cost and benefits of both cases, and they'll have to choose which one is better for them. Hopefully it does get better, but I don't think production will not get affected, since I think production should start around maybe June, July, August, around there, and I do think that's pretty close to now, to the whole situation, so I think it will inevitably impact it.
I kind of think that things won't get delayed, and that they will be like, hey, we might not have as much as we planned.
Yeah.
Here it is. And because like we mentioned for our own Patreon, like I know money is tight.
Yeah.
Right now, you know,
the economy is
a lot of people have lost their jobs. The economy has kind of been tanking, and stuff like that. And so I think not as many people are willing to spend, especially if this is going to be like a $500 thing. Like this might be like, hey, I want one, but I have priorities, right?
Yeah.
So I think they'd be safe to put them out when they planned to, with an expected like lowered demand for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know.
See.
It's so early that we'll just have to wait and see what happens, because experts have been talking about this. What's happening right now, it isn't just like any other recession because of how it all happened. So there is a chance that when everything is done, stuff will jump to close to where it was before all this. It isn't necessarily going to be a slow burn to get where we were because of the nature of how it was. So maybe economically wise, the world will not be in a bad place by the end of the year. But it's so
hopefully not.
It's so early to tell. And one thing that's going to suck, especially for me, is that the US launch will not be affected, I don't think. European stuff, European launch, maybe. Japanese launch, maybe. The rest of the world, probably will be affected.
Yeah, damn.
So that sucks for me. Yep.
Who knows? I know that Sony also updated the PlayStation 5 website. I believe that's the one they updated.
Yeah.
This week. That was just like, coming soon. It's happening.
Holidays. I think they updated it to say holiday.
Holiday 2020.
Yeah, for now they just have to hope everything will be okay by then.
Yeah. Let's see. Number 2, Nintendo's Mini Direct. Nintendo
So
kind of surprise dropped this Mini Direct. I don't know if they were initially planning on putting this out.
That's
to me it kind of seems just like this, like, our plans kind of got messed up because GDC is no longer happening, E3 is no longer happening, all of that stuff. Let's just put together something.
I think there is a chance that they had this Mini Direct plan, just because the stuff you saw here, it wasn't as big to necessarily be on a proper Nintendo Direct, nor was it small enough to be in an indie Direct.
Yeah.
So
it was just weird to me that it, like, they didn't announce it the day before. They just dropped it. It was just like, here you go.
It isn't the first Nintendo Direct Mini. Back in 2018, the same thing happened. They just, one day of the sudden, this Nintendo Direct Mini was up without any warning.
Good
so
point.
it is the second time that they do this. But like I said, I don't know. I would guess that they had this planned. The Direct Mini, if anything got affected, I think it would have been a proper Nintendo Direct. That might have been pushed.
Maybe, yeah.
But who knows? I don't know.
Let's see. This is coming from Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. They write, Nintendo has released a 28-minute Nintendo Direct Mini that featured such announcements as an ARMS character headed to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the release date for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which will be May 29th, 2020, and a few more, including Bioshock the Collection, Borderlands Legendary Collection, and XCOM 2, all coming to Switch on May 29th. The demo for Bravely Default 2 is available now. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Yeah,
Hell
boy.
yeah. Now this is podcasting.
Now this is a direct.
Pod racing. I mean, I said podcasting and I didn't even
Yeah, I thought you said
realize
it
it
on purpose. I thought it was a joke. So I was trying to go with you.
It kind of is. Either way you look at it, it kind of is.
Yeah, I was just trying to go with you.
But Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is headed to the Nintendo Switch later this year. I'm actually excited about that one.
Yeah.
I remember having that game on N64. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was like, I played a lot with a friend of mine back in the day.
Game.
I don't know how much I played, but it is nice to see it coming back.
Right? Yeah. Good stuff. Let's see. Burnout Paradise Remastered will be arriving on Nintendo Switch sometime in 2020. Catherine Full Body will be arriving on Nintendo Switch on July 7th, 2020. Animal Crossing New Horizons announced their first season event, which will be an Easter celebration. We also got some new Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass details.
Mm-hmm.
So let's back up a sec here. In ARM's character headed to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I saw this tweet the other day. I don't remember who said it, but I mean, it should have been there from the beginning, or it should have been just a trophy. It is weird that it's now.
Well, there
announced,
apparently is a trophy.
Yeah, no, there is a trophy
already in there.
So yeah, it is weird. It should have either been in the beginning or stay as a trophy. It is weird that it's coming now.
This one is weird to me because on one hand, it makes sense. This is
it makes sense.
Nintendo-owned IP, right? They would want to kind of promote that. Hey, maybe if we put it in Smash, someone will be like, "What's ARMS?" And then they'll go buy it, and they'll be like, Nintendo has more of your money.
Here's ARMS, something that we haven't touched in a while.
Right?
No one's doing anything with it. Better put it here.
But at the same time, I know that ARMS didn't hit for a lot of people.
Yeah. No one ever talks about ARMS.
I know that there are a few people out there that are like, hey, this is actually a good game. It's pretty underrated, but those are few and far between.
Yeah,
I think so. It just seems strange to me that they would, not that they would want this in there, but that this would be in there. Like if Super Smash Bros is a celebration of all things video games, sure, it can have representation. I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like there are still so many other games that it's just like, come on, guys. There's like, this is not up there on the priority list.
Yeah. You have to wonder, when they announced the new season pass, was this their first choice? You have to wonder, because last week we talked about Sakurai coming out and saying that their Smash plans had been affected because of the coronavirus. So you have to wonder, was this always meant to be the first one, or since everything that's been going on has been put in a stop to being able to work out licensing and all that, maybe just Sakurai went to Nintendo, or Nintendo went to Sakurai and said, hey, we have this, it's ours, so it won't be a problem. Put it in the game, announce it. And even when they announced it, they said, hey, we're going to add a character. We won't say which one, and you won't hear anything until June. So that was pretty weird.
Yeah, that might have been one that maybe they were saving for a later date.
Yeah, maybe it was always meant
like
to
the
be
second or third that they announced, because this is not necessarily a strong one to announce of like first character or something to get you excited to buy this new fighter's pass. Like a character from ARMS? Okay.
You know, it
cool.
it wasn't an announcement. It wasn't a Smash caliber announcement because you expect
Right.
that the new character will be announced and you will have this whole cinematic and oh, who is it and whatever. But no, they
Yeah.
just said, hey, a ARMS character is going to be here, not which
They
one.
still have
And
time to do the like announcement trailer and stuff like that, but it
yeah,
may have at least just been something like, hey guys, something is coming. So
I don't know, it's pretty weird. And
who knows?
it's and I think that's the whole problem with this Nintendo Direct. If you look at the dates in here, there's
Mhm.
nothing earlier than May 29th, other than the Animal Crossing event. There's nothing earlier than May 29th. Nothing
Yeah.
for April, nothing for most of May. Those 2 months are still pretty barren.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it in this. You know what? Let's actually just skip down there right now. Let's go talk about some Animal Crossing.
Dude.
We'll stay on this Nintendo news train. Animal Crossing selling big. It's making that big
Money,
old
money,
bucks.
money.
Money, 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 money. Money.
I was gonna go for it.
I tried, okay?
Yeah.
A for effort. This is coming from Ryan Craddock at Nintendo Life, and they write, the reports were true as new Famitsu data, thanks to VGC, confirms that Animal Crossing New Horizons sold a phenomenal 1.88 million copies in just 3 days in Japan alone. This means New Horizons has had the best launch of any Switch game so far in the region, beating the previous record held by Pokemon Sword and Shield, 1.3 million in 3 days, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's 1.2 million sales across the same period. The 1.88 million total only includes physical sales, so adding the currently unknown digital sales into the mix will likely be eye-watering.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Ignacio.
That's a lot.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it is kind of weird to say, but it did come out in a good time for them.
It's the
for the
perfect
game.
storm.
Yeah, it is weird to say, but it's true.
Yeah, just everyone is at home with nothing to do, and they want something that is not stressful,
Yeah,
not
something to escape.
anxiety-inducing. Just like, let me go be on an island.
Yeah.
Let me just go catch bugs.
Yeah, good for them. I wasn't expecting this, but sure.
Yeah, I like Twitter. My entire Twitter feed is just all Animal Crossing all the time. I'm just like, I'm not playing this game, and I'm not interested.
I'm getting some
but I
very
kind of
real
am,
FOMO.
and I'm getting FOMO slightly, but I'm not interested in this game. God damn it, Kyle, don't buy this game.
I'm going through the same.
Right? It's just like, man, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
All the cool kids are doing it. But yeah, good for them, because I think, yeah, if the next couple months are gonna be barren for them, this has made up for that in spades.
Yeah.
This has just knocked it out of the park. I expected it to be a big hit. I didn't know it was gonna be this big. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. I do want to go, if that's all we have to say on Animal Crossing, I do want to go back real fast and mention the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass stuff. That stuff seemed neat. Were you interested in buying that DLC?
No, and also to be honest, when this happened, they kind of left this at the end for kind of like one more thing, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So when that happened and it was Sword and Shield expansion pass Ditos, I just ended the video there.
Okay.
I didn't
So,
keep watching.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's not anything groundbreaking in terms of what these details are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we already knew kind of what these things were. But it does seem pretty neat. So let's see, blah blah blah. Where is this? The first expansion pack, which will add the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra to the latest Pokemon adventure in 2020. The Isle of Armor will be released in June, and Nintendo revealed that trainers will be fighting/training in a dojo that will earn players the legendary Pokemon Cub Fu. What's neat is this dojo tower thing. Supposedly there's like two versions of the tower. There's the Tower of Darkness or the Tower of Waters, and you can only choose one of them. And so, depending on which one you pick, Cub Fu will evolve into Ursafu when the tower is conquered, and if the Tower of Darkness is conquered, it will learn the single strike style. But if the Tower of Water is conquered, it will learn the rapid strike style. So that seems neat. That there's this thing where it just seems like there's more customization besides, okay, it's a new area and here's the new special Pokemon, and that's it.
Yeah.
Hey man, you have this like cool tower dojo thing to go conquer, but there's two versions of that. Pick which one you want.
It's very Pokemon.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Very Pokemon indeed. That sounded neat. I'm not planning on getting it either, but I'm at least keeping my eye on it.
Yeah, no, I don't plan on it either. I wasn't very into Sword and Shield, so I'm not
I
in
liked
any way
it
motivated.
enough, but like when Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out, I was only gonna buy myself one of those, but then my parents got me the other one for Christmas that year. So I played both of them.
You played through both?
Yeah. Played through both of them.
Okay.
And when Sword and Shield came out, I only got Sword. I don't plan on getting Shield, but it's kind of the same thing. If somehow I happen to end up with the other version, I'll play it. But this is like I feel like I've played the game. I don't know if I'm really super interested enough to get the extra bit. So,
yeah.
We'll see. I know one thing we didn't even mention last week was that Control has a new DLC out.
Yeah, and it sounds like it is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I love that game, but I have no interest in the DLC. So
I do want to play it, but right now I'm not going to buy something because of the whole world stuff. I don't want to spend more money.
Yeah, right. But if I'm not even interested in Control's DLC, then I don't know if Pokemon is gonna really do it for me. Anyways, moving on to the next thing on our list, Microsoft. I mean, I guess technically Microsoft, but Minecraft is offering free educational tools in their game. This is coming from Steve Watts at GameStop, and they write, Minecraft has opened a new education program in the Minecraft Marketplace, which houses free educational content curated by Microsoft. The first pieces of curated content inside the first pieces of curated content include a model of the International Space Station, a coding lesson, recreations of Washington, D.C. landmarks, lessons on 3D fractals and marine biology, and more. These free tools will be available through June 30th, 2020. Ignacio.
Yep.
Are you a Minecraft player?
I've delved into the Minecraft once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never played.
It is a fun game. I mean, as fun as your imagination.
Yeah, like I've seen people play it and stuff like that. It never seemed like something that I really wanted to sink my time into. But it is still wildly popular.
No, yeah, for sure. It's immensely popular.
And I think in the crazy times we're in right now, parents are having to deal with being home, being with their kids, having to keep their kids entertained and sane and safe and healthy
and alive.
And that is difficult.
Yeah.
So they have to find that right balance of like, okay, how much do we let them watch TV? Technically, they don't have school the next day, so we can't be like, oh, go to bed. It's your bedtime. You have school tomorrow. They'll just be like, no, I don't. And so something like this, I know that a lot of people are trying to like now homeschool their children, or teachers are preparing lessons and stuff like that of like, hey, here's things you can do with your kids. Here's some activities. And so why not have these educational things inside video games that they already love?
Yeah, no, it is an interesting time we are on in that now people have to figure out and be creative on ways to keep what we had, but on another setting. Like, now kids cannot go to school, so we have to figure out how do we bring the school to them, or how do we bridge that connection now. So it is interesting to see the ways people come up with this stuff, or how to do it. I think Minecraft doing something like this, it is pretty cool to see them and it being free, and it is in a way tricking kids into learning, and that's cool, Yeah.
Or not even tricking them, but making it fun.
Yeah, making it fun. Yeah, like putting sugar in the medicine. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would really like to see Fortnite do something like this. Like, you do like weird events and concerts inside Fortnite all the time.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that they couldn't come up with some mode or some in-game event thing that is like some kind of gamified learning something. I don't know.
I think right now that would be very hard because people are having to work from home.
I mean,
it has been more difficult to develop stuff, whereas with Minecraft, it is way easier. It already is a sandbox where you can do whatever you want. People have been doing this for a long time. The other day I saw, I don't know what organization of journalists, I think, created this server that had this whole virtual library with books and stuff for people who had no access to certain stuff because of censorship and other stuff.
Yeah.
So Minecraft is the perfect place for this. It doesn't necessarily have to come from Mojang. People can create this. Right. Whereas Fortnite, that would be very harder because developers would have to program something into it.
There are a lot of people working from home with a limited capacity. They can't necessarily work on motion cap stuff.
Yeah.
right? But I guess I was more so thinking of like, hey, Fortnite kind of took that ping system from Apex like by the next day, right? Like if they can do that in a day, it'd be neat to see what they can do in a week, a month, and have something like this. But yeah, you're ultimately right.
Yeah.
Much more difficult and hard to do. Let's see. Moving on here to the next one. Sony throttles back game downloads in the Europe. In the Europe.
In the Europes.
What if we just
And the
started
uses.
calling it the Europe?
Sure. Do it.
Welcome
Do
to
it. I dare
the
you.
Europe. Sony throttles back game downloads in Europe and the US. This is coming from Cal Jeffrey at TechSpot, and they write, with internet usage peaking during the current pandemic crisis, companies with large bandwidth requirements are beginning to cut back on their network speeds. Video streaming services were the first place restrictions. That seems like a typo. Video streaming services were the first to place restrictions by limiting HD resolutions. Sony has joined the effort by limiting download speeds for games sold on its digital store front. In an update to their article, Cal writes, it probably comes as no surprise that Sony is expanding its efforts to minimize bandwidth by slowing or delaying downloads on PSN. In an update to its original blog post regarding the European initiative, the company said it would take similar measures in the US and thanked the community for its patience in the matter. Have you experienced this yet?
I'm not sure because right now I'm not in a spot where my internet is as good as it could be. I'm pretty far from the router right now, so I couldn't tell if my bad connection is because of that or because download speeds have been lowered. That being said, we have been experiencing problems because of the high demand of a bigger number of users using the service at once. We have been seeing problems because of that. So yeah, it does kind of suck that right when we need it the most, this is happening. Download speeds have been getting lowered. But that being said, it is necessary because right now,
sure,
like we talked about before, there is a higher demand, higher than ever, for internet. So either you do something or you can watch it burn, because that's what's going to happen.
Our own website, the back end of the website, has been terribly slow.
Yeah.
And it's taking forever to load a page and stuff like that. But the front end seems to work just fine right now. But still, yeah, a lot more people are on the internet. A lot more people are gaming and downloading things and binge watching shows and stuff like that. And I know for the longest time, especially in conversations around Stadia and game streaming services, we said a million times, we don't have the infrastructure to handle this stuff. And we're kind of in a place that's being proven right, where it's like, hey, sure, this might be increased demand, not necessarily just game streaming, but that's what game streaming will do. It will increase the demand for bandwidth and all of this stuff, and companies can't keep up. We don't have the infrastructure.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's fortunate that this is happening when we need it the most, but bandwidth isn't unlimited, so it has to happen.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully things work out smooth. I haven't had to download anything yet, so I've been fine with that. I guess playing The Division, which is an online game, I don't know if that was affected, that if that's what caused that lag that I was talking about, but maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? Moving on. Sony reportedly pulls Mario creation from Dreams. This is coming from Wesley Yin-Poole over at Eurogamer, and they write, Sony has pulled a popular Super Mario character model from the PlayStation 4 game Dreams after a complaint from Nintendo. As spotted by Go Nintendo, Dreams creator Piece of Craft took to Twitter to reveal, quote, Mario projects in Dreams are on hold, end quote, after their Super Mario used by many user-generated Super Mario levels was pulled offline. Here's a tweet from Piece of Craft, and they wrote, good news and bad news. We flew too close to the sun, boys. A big video game company, who I will keep nameless, obviously didn't read my "be cool" note in Dreams. No worries though. Have a backup plan. But for now, Mario projects in Dreams are on hold until I put said plan into effect. This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
It's expected, I feel like, but I think it brings up some interesting conversation.
Yeah, no, even before Dreams came out, a lot of people were wondering how will copyright work with Dreams if you can't do anything, any game with any character. How will Sony handle copyright, and what will happen?
Right.
Nintendo doing this, it isn't a surprise, since Nintendo is very well known to do like this kind of stuff to protect their IP. So it isn't surprising that they were the first big ones to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is the first big one that I've heard of. But that's been the thing that you see happening and going viral on Twitter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, here's a remake of PT. Here's a remake of Metal Gear Solid, who knows what. And that's the stuff that becomes popular, and that's the stuff that takes off, and more original stuff kind of don't get as much shine, right? So they're having to deal with that. But at the same time, I think it was Kind of Funny Games Daily, and they brought up the idea of hip hop, right? And a lot of times hip hop beats will sample an older song and remake it into something new. And I know one of the things that happens is that sometimes the people that make these beats will make these beats, but they won't clear the samples, and they will sell them with that tag of just like, hey, you can have this beat, you can buy it, but I haven't cleared the samples yet. So if you want to use it commercially, like, you have to pay for all of that stuff. And it brings up weird conversations about, like, well, what about collaging? If I take this thing from that source and this thing from that source and this thing from over there and make something new, isn't that technically a new thing? It's a collage.
But you're still using someone else's creation. So exactly. I don't know till which point it does stop being the other person's property.
You have to find a very delicate balance of like, hey, I want to pay homage to something. I want to train myself to figure out how to do this thing by recreating Mario or recreating who knows what. But there has to be a place or some kind of solution where you can mark your creation as having copyrighted material, in the sense that, like, if you do that, then it can't be used in any kind of promotional material. The copyright owner has the right to be like, hey, take this down. Because like I think also with Dreams kind of talking about, hey, one day we hope to have this stuff be exportable. Just like, hey, you can move this to Unity and sell your own game, or make stuff like once. Like there's just so much stuff that's kind of coming into the pot right now. That I think you just have to be very, very careful where you tread, because like you can't make this and then make money off of this thing, right?
Well, even
that's not how that
even
works.
Then you don't have to make money for it to be bad. For example, the amount of games that have been using other IPs, but in such a distasteful way. There was, I think, one with Yoda. Yoda did 9/11, something like that. So that for sure hurts the image of the property. So it doesn't it doesn't even have to be monetizable for it to be already in a gray area or in a bad area.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So
I mean, all
it's
of this
complicated.
Yeah, all this was to be expected because of the nature of Dreams, how you can do whatever you want. And we'll have to wait and see how they handle it.
Reading a little bit further in the article, it sounds like the original is locked. Like, he can't use that one, but they can remix it. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what I read in the thing there. But there's something that like the original model is locked. No one can use it anymore. No one can find it. But I think Piece of Craft is still able to remix it and make changes and stuff like that, and that can be used. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
There you go. Let's see. Okay, we already talked about Animal Crossing. Let's move on to number 7, which is our last big story for the day. Epic Games Publishing announces partnerships with Gen Design, Playdead, and Remedy Entertainment. This is coming from the Epic Games website itself. And they have a blog post that says, I'm actually about to read like 99% of what this post is, so bear with me for a second here. It says, today, Epic Games is announcing a new platform publishing effort with a developer-first approach. Gen Design, the developers behind The Last Guardian, Playdead behind Inside and Limbo, and Remedy Entertainment, who recently made Control, are the first partners to announce relationships with Epic Games Publishing. The Epic Games approach to publishing fundamentally changes the developer-publisher model, and it aims to have the most developer-friendly terms in the industry so that creators can focus on making great games. And they have a couple bullet points here that says full creative freedom and ownership. Developers retain 100% of all intellectual property and full creative control of their work. fully funded projects, Epic Games Publishing will cover up to 100% of development costs, from developer salaries to go-to-market expenses such as QA, localization, marketing, and all publishing costs. 50-50 profit sharing. Developers earn a fair share for their work. Once costs are recouped, developers earn at least 50% of all profits. And then they have a quote here from Tim Sweeney, which says, "We are building the publishing models we always wanted for ourselves when we worked with publishers," said Tim Sweeney, founder and CEO of Epic Games. Gen Design, Remedy, and Play Dead are among the most innovative and talented studios in the industry, with strong visions for their next games, said Hector Sanchez, head of Epic Games Publishing. They will have full creative control, while Epic will provide a solid foundation of project funding and services.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I think this blog point did not point out, or this blog post did not point out, is that these will be multi-platform games.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah, so this is not just like, it's an Epic Game Store exclusive.
Wait.
It's like...
So when you say multi-platform, does that mean more than one marketplace on PC?
Potentially? I don't know if they've clarified that, but it could be, hey, it's on PS4, Xbox, and the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
Or it's on the Epic Game Store and Switch. You know, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I'm sure more details will come down the road. Yep. But what do you think of this, Ignacio?
Well, it's Epic doing more power moves on the industry.
Yeah.
It is pretty interesting deal for the developers. They basically don't have to risk anything and do get the money back. Mm-hmm. It kind of feels like a low risk, low reward in a way, because
kind of,
yeah, Epic still takes 50% of all profits. But it does seem like a good deal for them.
Yeah, I would be interested. I'm sure this next week or in the weeks to come, more developers will come out and give their thoughts on all of this, and just like how, like, what is this actually a fair shake for the developers? Because, like, to me on the outside, sounds like it's good. Yeah. Like you said, it sounds like it's low risk, low reward, but I don't actually know. That's like,
yeah,
so
that's what it sounds like.
I think it's an interesting thing. Man,
yeah, it's Epic doing.
I want to know what Play Dead is making next. Because the inside was fantastic.
I prefer Limbo.
Limbo was good too.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was fantastic.
Gen Design, I'm curious what they'll do next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
With how long it took Last
Guardian. So hopefully something good comes out of this. I'm sure we will hear more news down the road.
Yep.
But for now, that's all it was just this announcement that, like, hey, these studios have signed on. That's that.
Epic doing more moves.
Oh, yeah. Okay, kind of a number 8, but it's not much of one. Typically, at the end of the month, we announce the PS Plus games along with the games with gold that Microsoft announces, but Microsoft hasn't announced their games with gold yet, so we don't
technically Sony hasn't either. I think.
Yeah, I think they've basically came out and confirmed it.
Did they?
But according to leaks, the PS Plus games for April are going to be Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and Dirt Rally 2.0. And a lot of pretty reliable sources have been saying these are the ones.
Yeah.
This is it. So
It is a good list only because of Uncharted. The
Well,
quality
how do you feel
is
about that?
whatever.
Because we just recently got the Nathan Drake collection, which has 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are getting 4.
I mean, it is Sony using a game that came out a while ago now in order to make PS Plus seem more enticing. I do feel like their lineup recently hasn't been any good or interesting. So
Yeah,
having Uncharted 4 there, it really it does kind of like make headlines, and it is certainly
see,
more interesting.
I think that would be the case
Mm-hmm.
if this wasn't the like main game that was bundled with the PlayStation 4 for the longest time.
Has it?
Like
I don't think so.
yeah, like when I got my PlayStation 4, this was a game that came bundled
Yeah,
with
but
it, and I know a
I don't
lot
know.
of people that
I
already
wouldn't
have this
say
game.
I wouldn't say there's one game that has that. I think there are a lot of games that come in bundled
Oh
with
yeah, no.
PS4s.
I'm not saying that's the only one, but that is one of the main ones.
I don't know. I
Like,
personally I wouldn't say that.
I mean, it was one of the games that was bundled with PlayStation 4, and it was a popular one. And so I think the fact that so many people already have it, maybe it loses a little bit of value.
Yeah.
And then I kind of would have liked to see more variety since we just got the Nathan Drake collection. Like, okay, you already gave us a bunch of Uncharted stuff. There's something else?
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I don't know. Personally, I haven't been too excited with the lists like how coming out this past month. So even for me, who I bought Uncharted 4 when it came out, seeing Uncharted 4 it is more interesting to me than seeing 2 games that maybe I don't own but I had no intention of playing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
True. We'll see.
Yep.
They should be confirming that for sure.
Yeah,
in
soon.
the next couple of days, probably by time this goes public.
I mean, they had to do it before Tuesday.
Yeah, because this episode will go live April 1st.
Oh wait, no. It would have to be before the 7th. Because next Tuesday is the 31st. They
usually announce it at the end of the month, though.
Yeah.
Last day or two.
Yeah, but the games come out the first Tuesday of the month, and next Tuesday is the 31st. So they have plenty of time.
True that.
Mm.
Okay. Time for the upper runners.
The upper runners.
The little news things that didn't make the full list. First up, Konami denies the rumors about a Silent Hill reboot. There has been quite a bit of Konami rumors as of late, but they put the kibosh on. Yeah, no, we're not remaking Silent Hill. We're not doing that. Next up, God of War official webpage no longer contains only on PlayStation. Now, normally I feel like this would be something we should put in the main news section.
Yeah.
I think this report came from DualShockers, but no one else really picked it up and went with it. And I heard some other people kind of talking about like, oh yeah, that also kind of got and like, yeah, that's not actually the case, but I think there is some speculation to be had there. And so I'm like, hey, if they were to release another game on PC, I kind of think God of War would be that next one.
I don't know. I think that Horizon Zero Dawn, yeah, it was shocking, but God of War would be even further than that.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
At least, I don't know if this is enough for me to be like, oh yeah, I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, no.
But
You're
we'll
Mr.
see.
Maki there.
Yeah, it is rumors for now. Okay, Nintendo shuts down their repair centers in the US. If you are one of the lucky people to have a Nintendo Switch right now, take good care of it. Because Nintendo Switches are basically sold out everywhere, and they are reselling for a lot of money.
Wait, so is this permanent or because of coronavirus?
This is because of the coronavirus.
Okay. Yeah, because I saw this and that was a bit shocking. Even did that was forever.
Forever.
Like they've been having a lot of problems with drifting right now, so it would be a weird time to end it all.
You fix it. We're tired of fixing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, amidst all of the craziness with the coronavirus, they have shut down their repair centers in the United States. So
Yeah, makes
take
sense.
good care of them.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Platinum Games' next project will be announced April 1st.
Ooh.
They have been teasing the Platinum Games 4. There's 4 special announcements, and we've already gotten 3 of them, but they have 1 remaining. And supposedly that'll be announced this next week.
Yeah.
On April 1st.
April Fools.
So,
right?
yeah, who knows what that will be? April Fools, which I don't know about you guys, but can we just not do April Fools this year? Can we just share good news instead? That'd be fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I am a big fan of people doing April Fool videos like IGN and whatever.
Yeah,
they always
it
have
just
some good stuff.
seems inappropriate right now.
Yeah, but we all need
I don't
some
know.
laughs right now.
Sure, we do.
Yeah.
We do indeed. Okay, Ignacio,
Yo.
what are you excited about for this next week? What are you
What I'm
hoping
excited
to
about?
play or dive into?
Well, more is confinement in my house.
Yeah. Excited to move from the living room to the bedroom.
Yeah. I don't know. Lately, since the next game that I really want to play is Resident Evil, and that comes out, I think, next week, maybe.
Mhm.
Right now, I'm in this weird limbo in that I don't know what to play. So that's why I jumped back into Titanfall. But since
Fair
I'm so close to finishing it, I don't know what I'll play next. I haven't having this weird itch to play Watch Dogs 2 because
Okay.
because that game is set in San Francisco. So now I feel like when I play it, I will be able to
Home away
recognize
from
where I am.
home.
Yeah.
There you go. Be like, I was there. I
I
walked
was
down
there.
this street.
Yeah.
Dude, that's me with the Division 2
Yeah.
in Washington, D.C.
Mhm.
Like, man, I've been here so many times. I've been inside this building. Wow, it looks exactly like it. How did they do this?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What about you?
I am hoping to finally finish Division 2 Warlords of New York,
Mm-hmm.
which I have not been to as much. I don't recognize all the stuff. But yeah, hoping to beat that. I mentioned last week as well, I was hoping to jump back into Bloodroots, but I never got to. So hopefully this week I can beat the Division 2 and then jump back into Bloodroots.
Nice. It's not like we have more time now.
Right?
Yeah.
Not like I'm stuck at home.
Yeah.
Anyways, that about wraps us up for this week. I do want to give one other reminder. Let's see here. I'm going to open up my calendar. Let's see. We are going to be recording next week, April 4th, for episode 20, but I will be out of town that following week. So episode 21, we will be recording on April 18th. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up that we will be taking the week off that week. So be on the lookout for that. But that wraps us up. Ignacio, where can the people find you on the internet?
Well, Kyle, if they want to follow me, they can follow me on Twitter at Ignacio Rojas B. That's IGNACIOROJSB. That's my name.
There you go. You guys can follow me at YoKyleSpringer on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to stay up to date with this show or any of the other podcasts that we do, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. Go follow us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/the Whatnauts. Right now, every Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we record the Captain's Log. Typically, is when we do that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. I think we're at like 37 followers on there. Let's bump that up to 40. Can we get past 40? That would be amazing.
I know we can.
Follow us. Follow us if you do not already. But with that, we are done. We are out of here. We will see you guys next week. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out our podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below if you guys are playing some games while you guys are stuck at home. What are you playing? What's the name of your Animal Crossing island? That's what I want to know down in the comments below. In the meantime, go subscribe to our channel, which is right up here in this corner. That would help us out a ton. And also go watch one of our videos, which is right down here in this corner. That would help us out a ton as well. We got plenty of other podcasts for you to check out. But until then, bye.